You are hereby given notice that the members of the Brockton Housing Authority are called to meet on a special session on Thursday, August 4th, 2022 at 10 a.m. in the Carpenter Executive Board Meeting Room, Manning Towers, 45 Gordon Road, first floor, Brockton, Mass. The meeting hearing of Brockton Housing Authority will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this meeting in person or remotely. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and our participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting or hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. The public is invited to view and or listen to the meeting via phone, computer, laptop, or tablet. To do so, download the Zoom Cloud Meeting app in any app store or at www.zoom.us at 10 a.m. on August 4th, 2022. Click on to join a meeting and enter the meeting ID number 896-7443-7128 with the passcode 235453. I'll use the link http://zoom.us/i/896-744-37128. You may also join by calling the conference line at 1-646-558-8656 at 10 a.m. on August 4th, 2022, and enter the meeting ID 896-744-37128. Passcode 235453, followed by the pound sign. The board chair will instruct participants on the appropriate time and manner for public comment during the meeting. Just going to read off Governor Baker's COVID-19 memo. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency, on March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an executive order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. Pursuant to the order, public bodies are temporarily to the open meeting laws requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. On April 1st, 2021, it was extended to July 1st, 2022. Then it was extended again to July 15th, 2022. And now it's extended to March 31st, 2023. If we can all rise for a pledge of allegiance. If you can. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1.
Commissioner Trask,
Here.
Commissioner Roberts,
Here.
Commissioner Pettit,
Here.
Mr. Chairman.
Here. We have 100% in attendance. Item 2. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 23rd, 2022, and the special meeting of July 1st, 2022. Item A in your packet.
Members of the board, I have reviewed the minutes. I found them to be in order, and I would recommend that they be adopted as written.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Pettit. Motion is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 23rd, 2022, and special meeting of July 1st, 2022 as written. Roll call.
Commissioner Trask,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. And Mr. Chairman.
I should have asked, is there any questions or discussion on the minute? Anyway, a little late, but there.
Still works both ways.
Item 3, appointment of lead housing associate, exhibit B in your packets. People,
If I could ask Mr. Flood to speak on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tebow, members of the board. This is a promotion for a very talented member of the East Housing Department, Flora Marjani. Flora is here with her and Chris Lane Bonnie. When we had the organizational review done by TAG Associates, they recommended that there be different levels of employees in the rental assistance department, entry level employees, senior employees and management staff. And along those lines, we had created a new position, East Housing Associate, with increased duties over the home ownership leasing agent, which is the entry level position. We posted that promotional opportunity recently. Ms. Johnny applied, she was the only person who applied. Ms. Bonnie, the office manager, Ms. Collingmore, and I interviewed. Great job in the interview. She comes in early, leaves late, anything that's asked of her. She often is doing translations or interpretations for us. We were having a COVID pandemic, and we needed to put posters on the doors in different languages, whatever it was. Flora did all the Spanish. She'll do whatever needs to be done. The other thing I found out, which I've gotten since I first interviewed 4 years ago, she has her associate's degree in computer science. So anytime they need computer stuff done, before they bother calling, is Flora, can you help us? Flora, what do we do here? So we talked about it. She's thinking of going back to school to get a bachelor's.
If I could just add, if I could add to that, the words that I always associate with Flora, very efficient in her job, extremely pleasant in dealing with people, even when those people aren't that pleasant. And she just has a very good character. So she's a great member of our team.
this one, I get it. Before I can.
Very, very much.
School that you get a degree in computer science. Okay.
We need a motion.
So moved. Janet, second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Janet Trust, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to appoint Flora Mancini of Brockton to the position of lead housing associate effective August 8th, 2022, at the 2022 step-free rate of $49,490 per annum. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Janet? You're all set, Jim. Carol?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yes.
Unanimous. Or normally, at every meeting, nobody comes up anymore. If you want, you can. We'll shake your hand.
You don't have anything else to say, Mr. Chairman?
I will.
Yes, excellent, excellent.
Welcome aboard, boss.
Laura, I appreciate that you started out as a volunteer. That's very commendable.
Thank you. Yes. I say kudos for the computer science degree. That's a hard one.
I think, please treat our residents with one. Keep in mind that without them, we don't need you, they don't need me. They're our number one. Even if they have a bad day, or they have a bad day, think of that. Wait a minute. We can't like come up with a way to straighten it out. It worked. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming.
Mr. Chairman, if they could be excused, and go back to the rental assistance department down in the Surgery building and do the work for our applicants.
Thank you. Nice seeing you.
Laura, if you want, we have a meeting here once a month. Item 4, appointment of subcommittee to review executive director's contract. See the, I don't see the back.
So as you have been informed, Mr. Chairman, the Department of Housing and Community Development requires us to submit any contract to them 60 days prior to the end of the year. I would be interested in entering into negotiations, not negations. I apologize. That's all there. With the board, this is usually done with a subcommittee, not getting the details, and then the subcommittee would be put out to the full board.
So what I was gonna do was appoint myself, and this benefit to that contract. We have to have a vote on that?
Yes.
Can you hear that, Janet? I was gonna vote
I'm
myself.
sorry, I missed that.
We're setting up a contract committee for Tom Tebow,
Oh, yes, yeah, I just read it. Yep, that's good.
Ernest benefit to do the contract. Carol, that'll give you. Ernie, that'll give you. So we need a motion and the,
So
Nice.
move,
in a second.
Bernie second. Shook his head.
Ernie seconded? Too late. A motion has been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat. Motion is to appoint a subcommittee consisting of Commissioners Tim Sullivan and Ernest Pettifat to review the current executive director's contract and to report back to the entire board with a recommendation for new contract. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, by a show of hands, with Jenna,
Excuse me.
motion carried. Yeah. Item 5. Approval of addendum number 6 to architect/engineer contract comprehensive modernization phase 3D interior Capri Towers, project 24-7, exhibit D in your packet.
The next items on the agenda are all related to capital and were the pressing items that caused us to call for this special meeting. I'd like to ask Mr. Barry to speak on this and then subsequent.
Money.
The first on the agenda is the capital amendment number 6 to Kennel Tellers. Is actually a deduction on their contract due to errors in their plan specifications. This is actually the dollar value is what's actually coming forward on another change order as well. We went back and had a couple discussions, and we agreed with the reduction of $8,749. We would recommend accept the motion to accept the amendment number 6 to the Kennel.
We need a motion, item 5.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to approve amendment number 6 to the contract with Kennel McKennel and Taylor in the amount of minus $8,749 for associated costs incurred due to an error within the plan specifications for the comprehensive modernization phase 3D interior project, Caffrey Towers, project 24-7. Any questions or discussion on the motion?
If they made the mistake, why do we have to pay?
We're not
Hey,
paying.
It's a minor $8,000.
it's a
It's a-
credit.
It's a credit.
Oh, okay, okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes,
Commissioner Pettiford. Yes. And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Your motion carries unanimously. Item 6, approval of change order number 3, comprehensive modernization phase 3D interiors at Caffrey Towers, project 24-7, exhibit E in your packet. Mr. Tebow?
If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Again, due to a new number of unforeseen, issues and additional work such as asbestos abatement, on phase 3D interiors, we would recommend accepting change order number 3, in the amount of $18,596 for Bariki construction of, 219 Walnut Street, West Bridgewater, Mass.
If I could make comment on this, we carry about a 10% contingency in case we find things in the wall behind things that we don't know of. This change order brings it to 3.52%. So we're well below what our contingency for this would be. And this is, you'll see the next item is to close out the job. So that's where we will end.
This is actually offset as well from the previous amendment. So this $18,596 is actually subtracted from the money from the amendment previous would be taken from.
Just one question.
$8,000.
Is this work, they found when they removed walls and stuff?
Yes, no, it ends up, most of it ends up is, especially with two main line, sewer pipes that were broken in the wall. And so we did a full, basically we do a full flush down of it, it wasn't found. So then you bring back the special abatement proof, and then just open up the wall and everything else, we're replacing that, and then do it. So it just have to have enough, on stuff like that, there was 2 locations of that as well.
Actually, they're pretty reasonable. Put something like that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Chris is a tough negotiator. He is very good.
Good to have you here, Chris.
Yep.
We need a motion, item 6, from anybody?
So move.
second,
Ernie Beecham, Janet.
okay. Oh, Ernie,
A motion has made by Carol Roberts, Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Pettiford. Motion is to approve change order number 3 in the amount of $18,596 to the contract with Barika Construction Incorporated of West Bridgewater, Mass. For the comprehensive modernization phase 2D interiors at Caffrey Towers, project 24-7. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes,
Commissioner Pettiford,
Yes.
and Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 7. Approval of certificate of completion, consolidated and certificate of release for comprehensive modernization phase 3D interiors, Caffrey Towers, project 24-7, exhibit F in your packet. Mr. Tebow?
I would like Mr. Barry to speak on this also.
Again, Kittle and Taylor has deemed the reconstruction, complete as of June 10th, 2022 for 24/7 Caffrey Tower phase 3D interior. And has confirmed that all work meets all applicable codes. There's 2 plan specifications and that all punch lists have been complete. We would recommend to approval and statement of completion consolidated that to be released from reconstruction of incorporated 219 Walnut Street, West Bridgewater, Mass. For the 24/7 phase 3D interior project.
We need a motion, item 7.
Second,
Wow, you're quick now. A motion has been made by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat, seconded by Commissioner Janet Pratt. Motion to approve the certificate of completion, consolidated and certificate of release to the contract with Barika Construction Incorporated of West Bridgewater, Mass. For the comprehensive modernization phase 3D interiors at Caffrey Towers, project 24-7. Effective June 10th, 2022. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettison,
Yes.
and Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 8. Approval of change order number 2, no cost time extension, UFAS site improvement, Manning Towers, project 24-3, exhibit G in your packet. Mr. Tebow?
If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Again, due to supply chain issues, deliveries for our benches and just the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, we're requesting a 29-day time extension for materials. We would recommend accepting the no-cost time extension change order to Coastal Excavation Company of 48 Mary Avenue, Duxbury, Mass. For the 24/3 Manning Tower user site. Yeah, it's delayed for how long it takes. Every time all of the projects are being given dates for delivery, and week before or the day of it, they're extended, delayed. So
I see all the shipped up, California, can't get in.
it's everything we try to get, everything.
We can't get coffee cups there.
I found that out today.
Are these benches for,
Benches out front, they're there.
Well,
But they took, it was delayed in getting them in.
okay,
So it's just for time only. Again, we make them, we have in our files, letters from the manufacturers, suppliers, saying this date, then delayed. So it's not that they're not ordering, it's just they're not coming.
I was still waiting for our furniture for the longest,
Yes, that was ordered months and months and months ago.
so,
You got a broken bench up front.
but we have broken benches out front.
We need a motion, item 8.
So move.
second,
Ernie Peter. A motion has been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat. Motion is to approve change order number 2, a no-cost time extension for 29 calendar days to the contract with Coastal Excavation Corporation of Duxbury, Mass. The UFAS site improvement at Manning Towers, project 24-3. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettison.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 9. Approval of certificate of consolidated and certificate of release UFAS site improvements Manning Tower project 24-3. Exhibition packet.
If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Again, McKinnon Taylor, being Coastal Excavation Company, complete as of May 28, 2022. As per the plans and specifications and all applicable codes for the 24-3 Manning Tower user site improvement project. We would recommend to approve the certificate, piece of consolidated certificate of release for Coastal Excavation Corporation of 48 Mary Ave, Duxbury, Mass. For the 2024-3 Manning Tower user improvement.
Ernie got in there quick, Janet. We need a second.
Second,
A motion has been made by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat, seconded by Commissioner Janet Trask. Motion is to approve the certificate of completion consolidated and certificate of release from Coastal Excavation Corporation of 48 Mary Ave, Duxbury, Mass. For the 24-3 Manning Tower UFAS Site Improvement Project. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. Item 10, a water contract, comprehensive water closet replacement, Hillside Village, project 24-1.
Now we get to the new stuff. Mr. Barry?
Yeah, thank you. Capital improvements back on June first, between, solicitors with prime contractors for comprehensive water closet replacement 24-1 Hillside Village. We then received 5 bids, ranging from 80,500 to 128,400. After review of the submission, we would recommend the award contract to EV Mechanical Incorporated of 169 Kendall Street, Walpole, Mass. For the comprehensive water closet replacement at 24-1 Hillside Village in the amount of $80,500.
We need a motion, item 10.
So move,
Had a question.
Just a second, Joe.
Okay.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to a water contract in the amount of $80,500 to EV Mechanical Incorporated of Walpole, Mass. For the comprehensive water closet replacement project at Hillside Village, project 24-1. Any questions or discussion on the motion?
I just have a question.
Commissioner Roberts?
You said the bid ranging from 80 to 128, so
Yep.
the others in between were higher?
The ones in between.
Yeah, you said there were 5 bids.
Yep, so everyone went, there was 3 bids in between those, so it was 82,300, 84,228, and then a 99,899. The second sheet I thought had
Yeah.
the,
No, are we always obligated to take the lowest?
yes, in the state of Massachusetts, as long as they're deemed responsive and responsible.
don't we do a lot of work with the Rougeau brothers? It seems like theirs is awfully expensive.
It's just the time of the day sometimes, and
Yeah.
what they're, they obviously have a bigger overhead, first of all, than EV. And again, they've done them for us, but, they did the last EPC, and they did hundreds of them, so there's only 100 here.
Any other questions or discussion on the motion? I just wanted to add, I don't know if I said it earlier, that it is the low bid, $80,500 is the low bid. Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes,
Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. And Mr. Chairman.
Yes, motion carried, unanimous. Item 11, a water contract furnace replacement, Hillside Village, project 24-1, exhibit J in your packet. People,
I do want to make one comment that the last contract with the toilet replacements at Hillside Village, this one and the next 2 were all related to the energy performance contract that we were awarded by HUD back in June. If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on it.
What do you mean, Tom? That they'll pay for it?
Yes, it'll be paid for out of money that we're getting from savings on our electricity and water, our utilities.
Thank you. Again, back in June first, capital improvements solicited for prime contractors for the 24-1 hillside village furnace replacement. We received one bid, in the amount of $1,241,700. After the bid opening, it was evaluated and reviewed and was deemed responsible. We recommend to award the Lucia Brothers Foreman Incorporated, PO Box 50225, New Bedford, Mass, a contract in the amount of $1,241,700 for the 24-1 hillside village furnace replacement project.
Could I ask one thing?
Yep.
Just it can't be one. Burn.
100 furnaces. This is for a comprehensive, all of the furnaces are being replaced at hillside village.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
I thought it was one.
no.
The reason I asked, I gotta get a furnace myself.
Yeah, there's a little less than that.
I know.
And it's like you said, Chris, it depends on the time of the day. I mean, they're the only ones bidding now, Arujo Brothers.
That's it's gonna be a difficult project, because there's 100 units in the attic, and they're blown in insulation, and it's
So not a lot of people want to get into that, huh?
most likely not, no. It's just the other thing is in order and getting them in place and stuff. It's gonna take some work, so.
Just one thing. Could have been put right in the 100 furnaces being put in. It doesn't say it. I have to think about it. It's one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought we should. Only for next time.
Yep.
Then we went,
Yeah, typically, it's funny, I do apologize, I typically write comprehensive, meaning everything.
we need a motion, item 11.
So moved.
Second,
A motion has been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Janet Trask. Motion to award a contract in the amount of $1,241,700 to Arujo Brothers Plumbing Incorporated of Bedford, Mass. for the furnace replacement project at Hillside Village, project 24-1. Which is a total of 100 furnaces. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, people.
Commissioner Trask,
yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 12. Award of contract, roof replacement, Sullivan Tower, project 24-8, Exhibit K, second. Mr. Evil.
again, I'd like Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
People again, back on June first, capital improvements listed for prime contract for the Sullivan Tower roof replacement. We then received 6 bids, this ranges from $573,600 to $872,576. After the review of the bid and reference check, we recommend to award the Meeting Way construction of 31 Perkins Street, Brockton, Mass. Contract for the 24-8 Sullivan Tower roof replacement in the amount of $573,600.
We need a motion and a second. Item 12.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to award Leading Way Construction Incorporated, 31 Perkins Street, Brockton, Mass. A contract for the 24-8 Sullivan Tower roof replacement project in the amount of $573,600. Any questions or discussion on the motion? I just wanted to add that it's Leading Way Construction is a Brockton company, and it is the low bid of all.
They're also doing building high rise at the same time.
Roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yeah,
Commissioner Pettifat.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries. Unanimous. Anyway. Item 13. Award of contract, community room HVAC upgrade, Caffrey Towers, project 24-7. Exhibit L in your packets. People,
Again, I'd ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Again, on June first, capital improvements listed prime contractors for the community room HVAC upgrade at 24-7 Jeffrey Tower. We then received two bids, ranging from $178,450 to $206,000. After review of these submissions and reference check, we recommend award Enterprise Equipment Company Incorporated of 276 Liberty Parkway, Wayne, Mass. In the, for contract in the amount of $178,450 for the Caffrey 24/7 Caffrey Tower HVAC.
we need a motion, item 13.
so moved.
got a second. Still have questions.
Okay, hang on. Can you write that fast anymore? A motion to award a contract in the amount of $178,450 to Enterprise Equipment Company Incorporated of Weymouth, Mass. For the community room HVAC upgrade at Caffrey Towers, project 24-7. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Commissioner Roberts?
Is this upgrade, to make it more efficient, energy efficient?
Yes. What we're gonna actually be doing is taking the rooftop units and replacing them and actually converting them into air conditioning and heat. So we're gonna be eliminating all the electric heat and, unit ventilation. Because
In the
right now,
community room?
They're fighting against each other. Everything is the last, all these projects, the last 4 projects are all energy efficient. They're all the DEPC energy performance contract. That's a big change for us.
Is there anything in the future to make the building air conditioning?
Not,
Not the apartments. The hallways. The intake vent on the roof is really suffocating.
I think that's number 15, and it has to do with that, but it won't be air conditioned.
Yeah.
But
it's one of the things is getting the air makeup units up, and then we are replacing all the air makeup units.
Yeah.
And that'll be circulate the air and get rid of all the stagnant air that's there and get it there.
if I could just expand on that, Commissioner. For years, we have argued that we need air conditioning in our places, and HUD has adamantly said, no, we will not pay for it. Due to some real bad things that happened this spring in Chicago, they're thinking that. Campello, when we redo it, will have air conditioning. It's new construction.
Yeah.
At some time, we may be retrofitting these places if possible with air conditioning. Climate change is real. Things are getting hotter. And so it is, but 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if you brought that up, you'd be thrown out, we just would not approve it.
And just as long as what's coming out, the system is better than what we have right now.
We also gotta look at the, we look at all the development, you know, we're going to say in all the high rise. So it's not difficult to take, especially when they're all about the same age, and, you know, if we wanted to, we only had the money for one, then we could, you know, somehow get the air. We got 7, 8 other buildings.
I got you, Chris.
It's fair to say that climate change is real.
Yeah.
It's happening. Even today, it's supposed to be over 100 degrees. I don't know what it is.
It is, is, and what we're recognizing, even regardless of that, that a building with people who are elderly and disabled, many with breathing issues. You can't just put them into a box that's gonna turn into an oven. And on the 10th floor or the 8th floor of your building, it's,
Well, the fifth floor was pretty bad.
well, and I walked up those stairwells, it gets worse as you go
Yeah,
up.
as you go up.
That's coming up. 16,
15.
15.
Yeah. you need to-
We did, I didn't,
Yeah. Janet Trask made the motion, Carol Roberts made the second.
You know,
This-
you need to-
And now you need a-
any other questions or discussion? Roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes,
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carried. Unanimous. Item 14. Approval of change order number 2, roof replacement, Rainbow Terrace, project 667-1A, exhibit M in your packet.
If I could ask Mr. Barry to speak on this, please.
Again, the roofing project at Maple Terrace, we obviously have to add insulation to the roof with the new coastal planks. In doing so, we were having to raise the curb for the exhaust on the rooftop. At that time, the electrician noticed an issue with the season on the electrical spraying. It was going to become a fire hazard, a major issue. He brought it to the attention of not only the contractor, but also the building department, who required us to replace the cable. And also to put in a service outlet at each one of the fans. And with that, it also required a 30-day time assessment between roof delays and the work to be done on it. We would recommend accepting change order number 2 in the amount of $34,528.98, along with a 30-day no cost time extension from JD&D Construction Incorporated of 114 Upper Grove Road, Webster, Mass. For the Rainbow Terrace roof replacement project.
Need a motion, item 13, item 14?
yes, second,
A motion has been made by Commissioner Ernest Pettifat, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to approve change order number 2 in the amount of $34,528.98 and a 30-day time extension for the contract with JD&D Construction Incorporated of Webster, Mass. For the roof replacement at Rainbow Terrace, project 667-1A. Any questions or discussion on the motion? I have one. This is still under the engine contract.
No, this is not. This is the Secretary of State Development, so it would never have been, this has been a roof project we just had ongoing.
Okay. So this, we actually pay for this one.
This one we do, yes.
Any other questions or discussion on the motion? Janet, we lost you.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Janet?
No, no,
Item 14. Roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
yes,
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Item 15. Award of contract, replacement of HVAC air makeup units, Brockton Housing Authority, wide high rises, exhibit N in your packet. Tebow?
And this is under the energy performance contract. Mr. Barry, if I could ask to speak on this.
Thank you. Again, back on June 1st, capital improvement was the prime contractor for a BH-wide high-rise HVAC replacement project. On the 24th of June, we received 2 bids ranging from $911,245 to $1,356,000. After review of the submission and reference checks, we would recommend award the contract to General Air Incorporated of 7 Gaston Street, Dorchester, Mass. For the amount of $911,245.
We need a motion and a second, item 15.
So moved.
Carol Beaches, Janet,
Okay,
you want to second that?
sure.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Shannon Kraft. Motion is to award a contract in the amount of $911,245 to General Air Conditioning and Heating Incorporated of Dorchester, Mass. For the Brockton Housing Authority wide high-rise HVAC makeup air units replacement project. Just as a reminder, this is the low bid, the 911. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes,
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. And Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carried. Unanimous.
Chris, do people ever go out, companies ever go out of business because they overbid on too many things? Like they're just seen as sort of untouchable because or do they kind of keep a balance?
They really, it's usually, if they go out of business, it's not typically because they have too much work, because we always look at what their aggregate is, what their total amount, and the amount that they can actually bid per job. So if they've got, a $10 million aggregate. they
Can I
can't go-
just, so,
Sorry.
so what he means by aggregate, before they can bid on a job, they are reviewed by the Department of Capital Asset Management, and they look at their financials to make sure that they have the ability to complete the job. Chris
I
is speaking capital,
So,
capital.
Gonna take a 10-minute, a 5-minute recess, if I could, please. Recess for 5 minutes.
Not a problem. I understood. Oh,
I asked Laura, I said, if the opportunity becomes available here in the future, would you apply for a computer type job? If, she said yes.
yeah, and if she's gonna go back and get her
Actually,
bachelor's degree in computer science. Kudos for her. Cause I thought it was tough when I got mine. And I went to Wentworth. Right? I was real crazy. Even my kids said, what's the matter with mommy?
she's going to school.
I'm in school. That's what's wrong with me. And working,
A lot.
yeah. Yeah, wasn't easy. But it's changed a whole lot, because when I went, we were still writing, looking at DOS basically.
Mm.
Now, DOS is still there, but it's in the background, how Windows run, so it's an overlay. I fix my own computer. Time. When I get
So at
frustrated,
your time,
yeah.
that's exceptional, because women really weren't in that. at
Oh,
all.
trust me, there were only 2 other women in the class with me.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys looking at us, like, we told them where they could go.
Meeting back in order.
Okay. Chris, you're doing all the work today.
I know.
Like department.
I think you deserve a raise.
Yeah. Uh, We're waiting for everything to go together. That's all.
Item 16. Award of contract, construction manager at risk, CMAR, section 18 project, Campbell High Rise, exhibit O in your packet. Mr. Tebow.
If I could speak to this for a moment, as you will note, this is a rather long memo. And the reason it's this way is we want the board to have a history of what we're doing here down at the Campella High Rise. It's a complex project, and you have to hear it over and over and over again. I can tell you that Chris, Tom, David, myself, we have 2 meetings a week on this with Cambridge, with our architects, and now what we're looking to do is bring on a construction manager at risk. This is very unusual. The housing authority's never done it. You bring in the construction person before you have the plans. And the construction person works with your architect and works with the Brockton Housing Authority to make sure
Plans are right.
the plans are right and it's done efficiently. How can you save money? This first part of this contract, so it's a $120 to $160 million job. The first part of the contract is rather small. It's about $200,000, and I'll let Chris speak to that. It's only for their initial working with us in the planning stages, pre-construction. If after that we say we don't like them, they haven't performed well, we don't think they can go forward, we can say no to them. If we're going any further, we will come back to this board with additional agreements. But it's a big step. The company we're looking at is very, very well known. $100 million plus jobs are not something they do on a regular basis. That's their world. So we're excited about getting here. I think when you said Chris has been doing a lot of work, he certainly has, and his department is, and it's only just begun. Mr. Barry.
Again, this memo is requesting that the Brockton Housing Authority Board of Commissioners award a construction manager at risk contract on $261,762 for pre-construction services to Shawmut Design and Construction of 516 Harrison Avenue, Boston, Massachusetts, for the Campbell High Rise revitalization. This is, if you have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. This again is just for pre-construction, at which time they will be giving us another price, and we will be bringing it back to the board at that time for approval for the additional funds.
So if I can make this real simple, if you've ever seen a construction person looking at the plans and saying, why did they design it this way? It makes no sense. We have that happen before the plans are put out on the street. So that, and when we say, look, the facade of the building, it's too expensive, we can't afford this. The construction people may say, well, if we do this, it will be less expensive. So that's why you bring them on, and it's only on jobs, I think the minimum is 50 million, Chris?
All right, well, you can have it up from 10 million and above.
Or 10 million above.
Yep.
It's only on big jobs. You don't bring in a construction company like this at this time unless it's a major job. It's usually, and I think I mentioned this to you, Mr. Chairman, in your role as a school committeeman, it's usually in school buildings they do this. Because the public's going out, and the school buildings, as you know, are $100 million plus. Newton just had their high school for $100 million. So that it's something that was recognized as beneficial on larger projects.
Just one question, Tom. Part of the plans, is he gonna figure out where to put the buildings, where the exactly.
So we're going through feasibility right now. And so when you, and there is, it's 5+ acres. And whenever you move the building a little bit, it causes another problem. So yes, we're meeting with the environmental people. We are having the resurveyed. There's a huge easement, water, stormwater easement that goes through that. We're working with the city on that. But yes, where the buildings go is something that they'll be working on. And then how do you build that building next to an existing high rise? How do you tear that existing high rise down with a new building next to it? Those type of things that will be all part of the plans and that they will contribute to.
So we're with the big girls and boys when we're working with Shawmut Design.
Yes.
Correct.
Dormant design, you will see in, huge high-rise buildings in downtown Los Angeles, Boston, New York,
Las Vegas,
Las Vegas, yeah. They
Las Vegas. I've seen them take the hotels down right, and the one standing there and one right there.
Yeah.
One's running and the other one comes shoot.
We're not gonna take it down that way. We're
Well,
taking it
I
up
know, but
piece
that's
by
the way,
piece.
but that's the way they do it. They set it up as quite amazing.
We obviously have the condition that being
They do.
friend, I feel. It can be a lot different than just dropping.
Yeah,
And their headquarters is right on Harrison Avenue?
In Boston, yep.
Mhm.
That's one, there's the Boston headquarters, there's multiple headquarters across the country.
But it sounds like it started in Boston with that name, Sean.
Yeah. Fish, I don't know if you know the Fish family, they're fairly well known as philanthropists in the Boston area. I think the Jimmy Fund might be big behind the Jimmy
Yeah.
Fund.
I know where the building.
Is that a brother? I think there might be a brother.
Just one question for the $261,000. Seems like a lot of money. This is just pre-planning, that's all.
Pre- Just a pre-construction. So again, they're working, so again, they're gonna work with them, go through all the details. And what this does is also makes them comfortable on when they put their bid together. Because as they go through this, we as the authority wouldn't be responsible for some of the, if there were things missed because of their review. Okay, they're also gonna say, okay, we're talking, we may be 30 feet away from the existing highlight, the top building. They may be may get closer so we can meet zoning as well. So there's a lot of back and forth where they're able to do it. They did one project that was 3 feet away.
No, it was less than that. It was about 15 inches away. It was a school project.
The school project. They had one, their school running, and the other one being built that close. So it's understanding the project, what has to happen with it, how to do it. A lot of times engineers and architects know how to draw an idea. The actual doing the project is more so with the contractor, and they can help with the decision.
If I can just tag on to that, it is a lot of money. We are spending money. We will get, when we close this deal, this will all be reimbursed to us. We are watching the dollars. We're blessed with this woman, Margaret Moran from Cambridge, who is very, very good at the numbers, but it's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a big project. It's something that, this is the solution to something that we know, a problem we've had for years and years and years, but had no financial solution for it.
Normally on these bids, there's a length of time, is there any length of time on that? I'm just, I know it's pre-construction, but
Correct, right? So I'm scheduling, probably, I'm trying to think, we're doing it, we're going to bid the 24.
Yeah, so what they're going to do is then the next negotiations will be, and it's a new concept. They will come to us with a gross maximum price. They will say, we will build what is on those plans for $140 million. If it costs us 150, we will charge you 140. It's the gross maximum price. If it's 130, they'll charge us 130. So that's why they're involved up here. So that will probably take, depending on what, interaction with the city, but we'll need some variances or with some methods to go through. That, remember, that zone not set up for high rises. I don't know how they built the high rise there in the beginning.
I think there's nothing else there.
The next thing will be a gross maximum project that we'll work through, and we'll come through that. I would say that's gotta be somewhere towards the end of this year, because then once we get that number, we can start pounding on the doors of all our financiers. The low income tax credits, home, CDBG funds, hopefully some transportation funds, that gateway city funds. I don't know if you heard there was some gateway city funds in the most recent budget that were dropped off. Well, hopefully they'll come back. They were past this, but we're hoping that we can fight for that.
Good, good. So people will be clamoring to get into the Campello high rise eventually, and everyone said that used to be the place nobody wanted to go to, but
Right.
who knows?
Will be number one.
Yeah, I would say that. Because it
Everybody
will be.
want to transfer.
Absolutely.
One final question. First of all, Tom. When do you think this will be? This will go-
26 is the, I'd say the earliest, so we want to close on the job late 2023, early 2024. We will start the building right away. So in 24, but then once you build it, we're gonna move everybody out of the A building and about 60 residents out of the B buildings into the new buildings. Tear those down, build the new buildings. And come in with, and move the rest of the people in. The mass housing has been very good to work with. But they said it will probably take 2 years of funding for them, so they're not gonna give us all the money at once. They'll give us 80 million one half, 80 million the second half, so that extends it out a lot. It's something that because of the phasing, because of the building on lot and this is, by the way, the reason we're doing this is it's very, very good for our residents. Because if we didn't do it this way, you move your residents out of the building.
Yep.
To someplace else.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, you move them into the new place. This, they go from their old place to the new place.
Move on one.
Exactly.
So are people impressed with your vision?
It doesn't matter unless you guys are impressed. It doesn't matter. So
It's a good thing.
it's
We're
sometimes.
impressed. We're impressed.
In the future, you will be seeing some real stuff. The reason we're not showing it to you now is because most of the stuff that we've been shown, when they put it down on paper and they looked at where the water was, they said, oh, it's pretty, but we can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, so all those things are being wrestled with. And it's very shortly, I would say by September, so what, a month away, we will have a initial feasibility report that says, this is what you can do. Here are some options about what you can do.
And it will still be elderly and disabled, like no families or anything like that.
Exactly. We will replace all those 398 units. There is talk about doing something towards Plain Street because of the track there, and that might bring in additional money. But that's only concept right now.
Yeah.
And that would be additional units, and we would be looking at families for that.
Tom, what
That
is
would be
the,
nice. That would be very nice to have families there too.
what is the estimate for completion? 100% done.
Well, I'd say the
Both buildings going down, new ones here.
right now, the end of 2026.
Wow, that's not bad.
No, it's not, but it's a long project, and we've had some bumps already. We didn't know about that easement going through the stormwater easement, and that took a little while. We didn't know how the FEMA map was drawn and
Yeah.
and how the original surveyor looked at it. So there's little bumps in the road, and hopefully there's legislation out there right now, national legislation to substantially increase the amount of low-income housing tax credits, because that's the only way this country builds affordable housing, the only way. And we know that nobody can afford to live anywhere. They have to find new ways to do that. In fact, I did go to a Congresswoman Clark from Cambridge, who's also Nancy Pelosi's second in command, is working very hard on this.
Isn't the commuter rail a real plus too?
We're hoping, I'm not getting, we did meet with the city planner, and he spoke about, mass transportation funds. But yes, we're hoping that that's something, yeah, absolutely.
We need a motion and a second, item 16.
So moved?
Carol Beach of. Janet
Oh,
Beach.
that Carol.
You can second already. A motion has been made by Commissioner Carol Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Ernest Peterson. Motion is to authorize Thomas G. Tebow in his role as executive director to enter into a contract for construction management at risk under Mass General Laws, Chapter 149A, with Chalmers Design and Construction of 500 Harrison Ave, Brockton, Mass, for the Campbell High Rise revitalization in the amount of $261,762 for pre-construction services pursuant to the August 1st, 2022 memorandum from Chris Barry, Director of Capital Improvement, to Thomas P. Tebow, Executive Director. Any other questions or discussion on the motion, item 16?
Yeah, Susan has it. The actual address is 560 Harrison Road, but that's a script and Susan already has that in the note.
You get that? Janet, 560 Harrison Ave instead of 500?
Oh, okay, 560. All right.
So when you want to go visit their headquarters,
Yeah.
2 doors down. Roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes,
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously.
Very good job.
48. 2020,
I'm excited.
said 5.
I am too.
I am too. So we don't have any hearing and visitors on this,
No,
Special
it
meeting.
was
3 weeks
special
ago.
meeting.
but could they come on the Zoom?
Yeah.
We don't have,
It's not a requirement.
oh, I thought it was.
No,
Not on a special meeting.
no, it's not a requirement in a regular meeting. It's encouraged. And we should do it. But we don't have any guests here, right? That's a staff person.
That telephone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Item 17. We need a motion and a second from anybody.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Janet Trask, seconded by Commissioner Carol Roberts. Motion is to adjourn. Don't leave yet, Janet. Roll call, Mr. Tebow?
Commissioner Trask,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettifat. Yes. Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Motion carried, unanimous, meeting adjourned.
Mr.
Stay
Chairman,
cool.
You
You too, Janet.
Oh.
End the meeting.
Does anything